Fundamentally, there are three types of joint locks. There are extension-based, rotation-based, and compression-based. Right? So an extension-based would be what most people would see the arm bar as. I'm extending the arm. Rotation, simple example of that, Kimura, I'm rotating the shoulder. And compression would be like bicep slicer, calf slicer, where I'm compressing the joint. Any one of these individually applied can be quite effective, but if you apply the concept of extension, compression, and rotation all at once to the same submission, you're going to have a much greater effect. So we're going to add that at the end. We're not going to get to finishing just yet, but the idea is that when we're trying to finish, our goal is to simultaneously apply extension, rotation, and compression throughout the structure that we're trying to break. The most important one, as far as like keeping control though, is, and this isn't just for like arm bars, it's just like in general in jiu-jitsu, the most important sort of form of control is rotational control. I don't want my partner to turn if I don't want them to turn, and when I want them to turn, I want to be the one that decides that they turn. So if, for instance, the kind of the next stage, because we've gone through the first stage where like the defense is set, and like basically we kind of doubt that we can get this arm out. Like that's the movements that we did so far are like, man, I just don't think I can armbar this person right now, so I'm going to do something else. The next stage is, I got this arm out, but I don't have this yet. I don't have the full extension. So we're still very much in the phase where one arm is free, or like almost free. He's got like, you know, this kind of stuff is happening. Like, we can't cover everything today, but we can cover, I'm in the process of trying to get this arm extended. And until I get it extended, all we're like, right now there's no extension yet. I'm trying to get to extension. Right now, the biggest problem is who controls rotation. Everybody here know what a hitchhiker escape is? Right? Okay? A hitchhiker escape is, as I extend, he points his thumb up like a hitchhiker, rotates, and comes up, and all of a sudden, I went from an armbar to bottom side control. All right? Anytime you get a drastic reversal of fortune from a dominant position, that's not something awesome your partner did, although they did do something awesome. It's more you screwing up colossally and sequentially. So you making several major mistakes. Right? So we're going to try to reduce the amount of mistakes that you're making. I broke free of the defensive schema, whether it's the hand or this or whatever, and I'm starting to take the arm into extension. This is the phase where a lot of arm bar, against like, you know, more skillful people, where a lot of arm bars get lost. Somebody performs a hitchhiker escape, or I try too hard to extend and he sucks his elbow back in as I go. Right? Again, I end up on bottom, he's going to gain position. Or he gets into base, rolls up, I end up here. It happens to people all the time, and they're still holding on for some reason, and then they suck their elbow out, and then the same problem. Every one of those instances was me not controlling their rotation, and them eventually controlling my rotation. So I started to turn, and then he forced me to turn by accessing a lever to my hip. So as long as we've kind of identified the problem here. I'm here, I don't have an arm bar yet, but everyone thinks they do. They're like, yeah, I got this. Now there's still a lot of work to be done. And here it depends on your level. If you're a white belt, yeah, they probably, like, you know, if Troy was a white belt, I'd be like, yeah, I probably got this. You know, and then as they get better and better, it's like, man, 90% of my work is still yet. Like, this is a good black belt. I have no clue whether I can armbar him just yet. There's so much work to be done. And that work is all about how we control this rotation. Right? So the first thing we're going to do here is just try to understand which direction they're going in. So if they're going in this direction, this rotation is really important. Right? Again, if we're talking about the hitchhiker escape, if I'm just controlling his wrist, or even if I'm controlling his hand, I'm like, great. Like I've seen this taught a lot. Like, get that bro handshake, start to extend. Can you rotate? Absolutely. I'm going to try to stop you. Rotate? No way. All right? So he can still complete this hitchhiker escape. All right? Can you do a hitchhiker escape for me now, Fred?
You got backstop on me too. Yep.
It's not really about this. It's about controlling this rotation. All right. So if I've got, like, say, the Kimura control, which is my preference, like when we actually go into how we're going to get through and like break and control your armbar, I'm controlling the wrist here. I will have broken this free, and then he's going to start to try to rotate. and I'm more concerned with pushing this down and internally rotating his shoulder to maintain the control. I can do this here, it's more powerful, but if for whatever reason I try to go here and it turns, I don't worry about it too much. I just continue to create a lever control to his shoulder, and I just want to rotate. So you can see right now, Troy's shoulder is kind of flush with his chest, and see what happens as I pull it this way. His shoulder comes up, indicating that it's internally rotated. He can't turn that way anymore. He can start to come up this way. So if I took my leg off his head, I don't control that rotation as well, but as long as I stay behind this elbow and I control this, I'm fine. If I'm here and I'm like, it's time to bring my leg over his head, he puts his elbow on the ground and he controls my rotation. I don't control his. This is why the leg being over the head, which is kind of the thing that most people worry about the most. Like, I'm going to do an armbar on you as you're coming up. I'm trying to bring my leg over your head. I have zero base. He's got a lever to my hip. He's got base, posture, structure. He's going to get out. People are way too worried about getting this leg in front of the head. That's not really the crucial part. I need to keep his elbow under my control, and I need to try to affect this rotation. So we're going to start with, again, hand. Doesn't matter. Our partner's going to let us break this free. And we're going to be here. You can have the wrist, or you can just have this. It's kind of up to you. You can play with a couple of different grips, because we're going to get a little bit like freestyle here. And so now I'm here, and he's going to start trying to escape. And I'm just controlling his elbow, using my feet for base, using my hand for base as necessary, trying to keep his, like basically the bottom of his triceps and his biceps wedged in between my rib cage and my thigh and my forearm and my hand like this. And I don't ever want him to get all the way over this way. And if he goes this way, I don't want him to get his elbow to the mat, because now he's blocking my hip. So now this becomes a flexibility issue. Can I get my leg in front? But if I keep his elbow here, it starts to come up. I just adjust my hip, and I can reset my leg whenever I want. Because I controlled the rotation. I controlled the direct lever to his shoulder, and I slightly internally. That's why it's better to do it this way than just with this. Because with this, yeah, I can't really stop that. I mean, I can stay behind the elbow the whole time. As long as I stay behind the elbow, controlling that lever, my feet are in base, I'm not really worried about where he's going to go. I don't really care about the head. I care about this lever, and I care about the rotation. So just, like, I don't play with it, sounds kind of vague. Wrist control, elbow control. You can use the Kimura as well. Keep your hips behind their elbow. Keep your rib cage tight to their triceps, and keep it tight to your thigh. And you can even step off here like this. Okay? Again, this is the armbar control position. I don't care if I armbar him. He should be super worried about this. So chances are he'll be reaching over. You know, if we're in the gi, we've got all these extra cool things we can do. We've got these kinds of, like, there's all kinds of things you can do, as long as you're just maintaining this rotational control by controlling the elbow to the shoulder, and ideally also controlling the wrist to the elbow. This creates what I call a ratchet lever, which there's no such thing, but like, you know what a ratchet, as opposed to a screwdriver, much more powerful way of turning something. So I'm using this lever to rotate this lever, and that provides me greater control. But you can do it, because we won't always be able to have this. This is situational. If I've got this, great, I'm in business. If I don't, that's fine. I stay here. So start with the armbar position. The partner lets you break free, and now they're trying to get out. They're trying to hitchhiker, they're trying to push your leg down, trying to do whatever. You should be able to make that adjustment. And we're still not finishing the armbar. We're still just trying to maintain control. If at any point you don't like the way things are going, can anyone tell me what you're going to do?
Reestablish.
Reestablish what?
Now.
Exactly. Or take it back. Exactly. So we've got a pathway back to where we're still in total control, dominant position. But meanwhile, now we're playing with the next stage of this lever being free, and can we still control it and prevent someone from escaping in that stage of the armbar?
When it's on your hip like that, can you just show like maybe the transition to that back control one more time, even with this control?
Yeah. So if I'm here, it's the same basic movement. It's just I won't be controlling both his hands. I'm just using that lever, and I'll use this hand behind his armpit to help me out. All right? Okay, let's get to work. 1, 2, 3.